Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to the Irwindale Speedway in Irwindale, California for the American Sim Racing Association Late Model Summer Shootout Series' Motorsport Graphic Design 200, and we get set to bring all the action to you right now live on LSRTV. Up in the broadcast booth alongside of myself, Evan Pasoko, is Justin Rose. Now, Justin, Irwindale, always a thriller to go to in the short track world. We got about 20 hungry drivers set to do battle on the outer loop here tonight, and we get set again. 200 laps going to be on tap. Surely will be an exciting one. This is the continuation of the Late Model Summer Shootout Series. We covered action earlier on in the year with their racing league with the accelerated graphics 250 from Sobo, but now it's on to Irwindale. A lot has changed since we launched all these drivers. We'll talk more about the championship and such as we roll through, but let's get things started off with our starting grid.
And on the pole for tonight's race with a 19.727 second lap, going to be the 18 of David Richer, and outside of him on the front row, the number 12 of Wade Sheeta.
Alex Halliner is going to roll with the number 64 off in third spot. Alongside in fourth is David Killow.
Inside row number 3 in the fifth spot, the 27 of Mike Martell, and starting outside of him in the 26 in the sixth spot, going to be Donnie Moore.
Tyler Graff rolls the double 7 off in P7. Triple 7s for that car as it starts on the inside of row 4. Outside in 8th spot is the 30 of Adam Poff.
Ninth going to the 53 of Austin Coop, and in the 10th spot, the number 10 of Mickey Harden.
Kyle Lavreau will roll the iRacing.com Monte Carlo off at 11th position, and 12th to Josh Poole in the 5 car.
The 3 of Jacob Porter will start 13th, and starting outside of him in the 7th row, the 14 of Brad Newman.
Walter Holmes rounds out your top 15. 16th is Nathan Hurlbutt. Clint Crowell in 17th and 18th position is Shannon Jones.
In the 17th spot, you're going to find the 48 of Clint Crowell, the 54 of Shannon Jones, 18th, and looking back through the rest of your field, 19th spot going to be the 33 of Alan Wild, 96 Tanner Cook, 20 and 21st, scheduled to be the double 0 of Kyle Barnes, and the 1 of Austin Jones rounds out your field in 22nd.
And those two final cars not currently on track, so it looks like out of a 22 possible, we will have 20 cars on the grid and getting set to do battle. Lights are off on top of the iRacing.com Ford First Mustang pace car as we get set to go racing. Pace car is going to dive down to the safety of the pit lane this time by. That is going to put the fields in the hands of the number 18 machine as we get set to go and get the Motorsport Graphic Design 200 kicked off. We're glad to have you with us on LSRTV, ready to do battle at one of short track racing's hallowed grounds. Pace car is well off. 18 machine, now that the green flag flies, is on the loud pedal. We race down to corner number 1 for the first time tonight. No problem for the top spot. The 18 clean sailing down to quarter 2. Side by side though for second on back. The progressive banking on this racetrack will allow some drivers to try to look at the bottom. Already almost contact their side by side for second.
What you're looking here tonight here is not your typical RSR cars where you're running the NBA cars. These guys are running late model slot cars, which are a variant of late models run typically down in the southeastern United States at tracks like South Boston, Langley, and the like down there. As we have a battle for the lead now, the 12 of Wade Sheeta working to the inside of David Richer. And to be honest with you, Evan, what we're going to see here tonight here is these guys all fighting for about the same lane on the racetrack. There's different ways to skin the cat around here, but really the preferred line is right about where that dotted line is, but Richer making it happen way up on the top side of the racetrack.
And the question into tonight's race was, could anybody beat that number 18 machine up at the top of the pile right now, not only on track, but as well in the championship standings. Also the winner in the most recent event with the ASRA. He won the Draper Valley Golf Course 250 not all that long ago over Kyle Sieg and David Killow inside of the top 3 in the 18 tonight. One of the names to highlight to keep a look on, and he still sits there right now. 12 applying pressure, now caution back in the pack, trouble on the racetrack down in corners 3 and 4. The 30 machine is up at the wall. That's Adam Poff. Looks like Walter Holmes involved as well. Yellow flag flies.
About one half of the field involved here on the caution on lap number 4 down there in turns 3 and 4. Several cars getting together here right now. The replay going to come up for you in just a couple of moments, but there's also the 77, the 99. Replay going on your screen right now. You're going to see what happened is specifically right around, I do believe that's going to be the 77, possibly the 3. Several other callers involved and down there in turn 3 and 4 there on lap number 4.
It was a multiple car incident that did start with the 27, the 25, and then the 77, as you mentioned, got turned around, and they all got things spun back around relatively quickly and kept going, and it was the accordion effect that collected a 30 in the 08 and kind of got hooked together up against the outside of retaining wall. That's the cars that we saw stopped on the track once the caution lights did come on. So some drivers at the back of the pack could have to come down pit road. Not a whole lot of time to get service done either, Justin, on this pit lane. When you take a look at the guys out there on the racetrack, you come down, you don't have a lot of time to get damage fixed or do a whole lot of extracurricular stuff, or you can very quickly lose a lap. A lot of drivers from the back half of the field down the pit lane.
Coming down to get their damage fixed here in the early going. Again, 200 laps on the board. That is the distance tonight here at the Irwindale Speedway, which is set to close in real life at the end of this year. So this track going to be the only version of Irwindale Speedway come in just about a few months from now. And with that said, you only have time, Evan, to take about 2 tires on pit road before you have to scurry off of pit road, catch up to the back of the pack, and then pit 2 laps later so that you don't go 1 lap down, because caution laps here are still 35, 36, 37 seconds, depending on how close that leader is to the back of that pace car.
We've talked about how the number 18 machine found himself in this event. It was the top 20 that were locked in. Top 20 in the championship standings were locked into this event. Everybody else who wanted to attempt to qualify had to go through the last chance qualifier the other day. 2 of those drivers that did, out of the 3, are making up the rest of the top 3. Both Wade Tashida and then as well Alex Allen are right now 2nd and 3rd on the racetrack as the lights go off the pace car. Both of those drivers finished 1st and 2nd respectively in the LCQ, and that is where they find themselves now up at the front of the main event. So maybe trying to come in here play spoiler to the 18 machine's very strong run in recent races. The pace car once again backed out of the way, down to 18 cars on the lead lap. No change up front though, 18 to be in the control position, down low at a quarter 4. Green flag flies and side by side they go. 4 down to quarter 1. Inside is the 18. The 12 machine can't hold the top. The top 2 single file out of 2.
Top 2 single file, the 64 working on the inside with the 53 of Austin Cooper for the 3rd spot and sailing down into turns number 3 and 4. The 53 of Austin Cooper going to get a strong run around the outside there. This track runs right up around the top side of that white stripe down there. In each corner you see her on the racetrack, and you see Wade Tashida trying to look down to the inside for the 18 of David Richer for the lead at the moment, but everybody settling down single file until you get to about the 6th spot. And with that said, battle for the lead out of 4, Evan. It's the 12 of Wade Tashida. He wants it going down into 1.
And it is Sheeta down on the inside lane. Again, that 12 machine lost the outside on the restart. May not have been bad news. He gets to the bottom, and it is the outside coming down to 12 degrees of banking up against the outside wall that allows David Richer to pull back in almost side by side. Advantage evidently going to go to the car down low in the corner. Off, it's going to the 18. Now way down low goes Austin Coop to the white line. He'll slide up the hill, can't do it. The driver that does, though, is that number 12. Wade Sheeta to the lead, and now David Richer all the way down onto the apron, trying to make it happen. Can't get clear. He'll slide at a 4 and a 12 car to the point.
Almost dirt track style racing here tonight, boys. We got ourselves guys going all the way down to the bottom of the track trying to pull off a pavement version of a slide job. You seen that last time by through 3 and 4 with the 18 and David Richer going all the way down to the grass in turns 3 and 4. That is the legal apron on the racetrack. You can run your car down there that is not out of bounds like you would normally see at a NASCAR track such as Talladega or Daytona. So these guys free to use every inch of the racetrack, and well, some guys get a little bit creative there, especially the 53 of Austin Coop trying to make it 3 wide here for a moment, coming around this time by. 15 laps in the books out of 200 here, almost 10% of the race in already, Evan.
And we had talked about how everybody really wants that top piece of real estate, but with the progressive banking, 6 to 9 to 12 degrees, you can really work it out, even go down to 0 if you're down there on the apron there. Coop trying to get 2 birds with 1 stone and figured maybe if Sheena and Richer were just fighting with each other, he may have been able to sneak by. Was a good idea, but still sits in 3rd right now, has been unable to move any further forward. Since that 12 machine has gotten out front, Sheena has opened up about a 3/10 of a second gap, but really the top 4 or 5 cars putting on a clinic right now. Fourth position is the number 64 of Alex Allender. That machine is 1.3 seconds off the top spot. He's half a second in front of Kyle Lebro. That driver, one of the biggest movers so far, up 6 spots so far. In the iRacing.com Monte Carlo started 11th, is 5th right now. He'll tag the fence that time down the back straightaway, but he continues his charge forward. After that, you got P6, kind of in no man's land, Donnie Moore, right where he started this race in the Trading Paints machine, and then 7th on back. You're almost 4+ seconds out of it. That's where you get a lot of battles, and one of them right now for P9 sees Shannon Jones, the 54 machine, up against the outside wall, and Josh Poole on the attack.
Yeah, the 14 of Brad Newman's been bustling his way through the pack as we're 2 and almost 3 wide at times now. In turns 3 and 4 is going to be the 96, I do believe, of Tanner Cook, somewhere involved in that as well, along with the 33 of Alan Wild. These guys 3 wide now down in turn number 1 and 2. Wild down on the bottom. You're going to see the 5 of Josh Poole buried in the middle. 54 is Shannon Jones trying to hold on to that, as well as the 96 of Tanner Cook. Several guys all trading paint right now. Brad Newman's already made himself clear of that pack right now. 3 wide racing here as we complete lap number 20, 10% of the race already in the books out of 200, and almost 4 wide here. There was one driver a little bit further back. Is going to be, I do believe, the 99 of Nathan Kroger. He really put it right down on the bottom of the apron, almost making it, oh man, almost big trouble there. The 33 of Wild almost collected the 5, and almost put a bunch of drivers around there in 3 and 4.
Yeah, they did go 3 wide. They'll think about it again. To the bottom goes the 33. Not going to keep it down there, but Alan Wild certainly stuck a nose to the bottom of the Hoosier Racing Tires. Number 5 of Josh Poole. Up on top of that 5 is where everybody else is in that lane of traffic. 4 cars up top. The 5 and the 33, the load machine, trying to make something work down low. And even though there's single file above them, still getting some action going on there. The 54 of Shannon Jones talking about that machine was under attack. 96 has been beating the back bumper off the last couple of laps, and now Tanner Cook going to go all the way to the apron, slides up in front for the slide job, shuts the door. That's how you utilize the apron if you're going to have to do it. All the way to the bottom, slides up and clear, gets the spot. So that car going to get into clear. The 54, though, no such luck because he continues to be in 2 wide, at least 3 rows deep. He fights with the 55, the 10 and the 33, find the 25 and the 99. 3 sets of 2 wide action out of 4.
Again, the 5 of 4 working the inside of the 54 of Shannon Jones. Shannon Jones holding strong on the outside line. The 5 of Josh Poole cannot quite make it stick down on the bottom. Really needs to go all the way down to the apron and almost pull a slide job like he did. The 96 did actually just a couple of laps ago, but battle starting to shape up for the lead here. 25 laps in the books. Wade Tashida now down to just under a third of a second gap between him and David Richter. That's going to be about the measure of about 5 car lengths or so, maybe a little bit less. Now it's down to 2 as they cross the stripe here. Battle in 1.
Yeah, that 12 machine was pulling away as the 18 slowly slid. Now maybe has a little bit more on the longer run. That 18 machine, though, sideways coming off a corner 2, riding about 1.5 or so grooves up the racetrack in comparison to that number 12 machine right now. That lap going to go in favor of Tashida, though, going to gain about 1.5 tenths of a second. It's back up to 35 100ths. They're all by themselves, though. They don't have to worry about Austin Coop trying to throw it to the bottom 3 wide and taking advantage of both of them because that driver is 1.2 seconds out of it. So really, the top 2 can fight amongst themselves, but still, the biggest battle on the racetrack continues to be the 54 car on back, and Shannon Jones did a great job in the opening portions of this race, Justin. Started 18th, got up to 11th, but is just getting freight trained these last couple of laps. The 10 with the bump and run, the 33, the 25, everybody teaming up on that 54 car.
It is a jailbreaker on the 54 right now. You got the 33 also involved. Alan Wild trying to work to the inside. Almost loses it on turn number 4. Gathers it back up, but he's going to lose a lot of ground to the 10 of Mickey Harden. 25 of David Killo also involved in that little mess as well. Killo trying to work up the middle. They're trying to make it 3 wide out of turn number 2. Not going to make it happen as the 10 of Mickey Harden got a better run, but Killo still working to the outside of the 33 of Alan Wild. And out of turn number 4, Wild with a slight edge as they cross the stripe. Now Wild trying to work to the inside of Mickey Harden, I do believe, for the 12th spot.
We continue to watch this mob of race cars as they work at a quarter number 2. The gap up top is continuing to grow once again in favor of Wade Tashida. The number 12 machine now 7/10 and growing. In the lead sideways is the 10. Contact into the inside wall. Goes Alan Wild. The 33 is turned around. Mickey Hardin's number 10 snap-on machines around as well. Caution flag is out. And we'll slow him down after finally that battle of about 5, 6, 7 cars going 2 wide, 3 wide, and which way in that high and low finally just ran out of room, and contact between the 10 and the 33 is what sparks it all off, Justin. It was Alan Wild who was down low, and he was getting sideways, but he kind of just got stuck in a bad place when that 10 machine got sideways in front of him.
Yeah, 2 drivers battling hard on the racetrack. Going to park it down on the inside fence. And you're going to see the replay here in just a moment of what happened here coming out of turn number 4 on lap 31. You're going to see the 10 of Mickey Hardin battling hard on the outside of the 33 Alan Wild, and both of them just seem like they get loose and find each other on the racetrack, and that's going to put us underneath our second caution flag on the evening.
And pit stop action for the drivers up at the front of the field. David Richard did not want to come down pit road, but the 12 machine race leader Wade Tashida did come down. The 18 ducks down at the last second. Both these drivers going to come down in for service. They're followed by Austin Coop, Alex Halliner, Kyle Reveau rather, and everybody else at a lead lap coming down for service. They head into their pit stalls, and trouble for the 64 completely bombing that entry. That's going to be costly for the Halliner crew.
Malin can take fuel only on that car. He's still backing up in the proper pit stall there. I don't think he knows where his pit stall is right now, but left side's up on Wade Tashida. He's going to get down and away first. You got 1 car down and away with 2 tires. That's going to be the 53 of Coop, and the 18 of David Richard going to take 4. He's actually going to get off pit road first, so give the 18 the lead. He actually looks strong there, but as the long run wore on, it looked like Wade Tashida possibly has the car to beat.
So it is going to put David Richard back to the top of the pile. Everybody coming down pit road from your lead lap cars that time by. So the 18 is going to be in the top spot. Somebody did stay out. They came in the next cycle around. So the 18 back to the top of the scoring pylon right now. Austin Coop, though, that number 53 that we were just talking about, was up there battling inside and trying to get the top 2 of each other. He was third for the majority of the opening stint in that race. Very quickly, though, made gain of what was 6 spots. Right now, he's 7 in the positive after starting 9th, sits second right now. Wade Tashida, not the best start, though, on the pit lane for that 12 machine, Justin. He'll be third for this restart, down low on the inside of row number 2. The outside is the place to be, so if Kyle Reveau in that 47 can continue to pester that 12 machine, all of this could be good news for Richard, as the 18 car, going to be the control car, pace car, is out of the way.
Ford First Racing pace car finds itself on pit road as the field in the hands of David Richard. League rules state that they can only go on green, so the American Ethanol green flag back in the air. Dead heat across the stripe, advantage slightly the 53 Austin Coop there on the restart. Richard now works the bottom, trying to get back around Coop to claim the lead, as Coop did actually cross the start-finish line ahead of the 18 of David Richard. You see now goes down to the bottom, trying to put the slide job on the 53 of Austin Coop, can slide up and clears them. The crossover move now in 1.
The 18 could not get cleared down in 1 and 2. That's something that Wade Tashida had done on every single restart. He made the move, and the crossover retaliation rather not going to be effective from Austin Coop. He tried to put the move back on the 18 that the 18 did on him, and to no success. He'll fall to second spot and put David Richard back on top of the pile. Now you will see Wade Tashida right now scored in 3rd. He's been able to get around Kyle Reveau. The 47 is 4th. 12 is side by side with the 53 for the P2 racetrack right now. We know that Tashida is faster than that 53, if not faster than David Richard, with the lap times that they were putting down right there right before the caution, especially on the long run. So if anything, this is the 18's best shot to grow a gap, but he's not even getting all that far away. It's still Austin Coop and Wade Tashida side by side for P2 down the back straightaway. A little bit of a fight going on back in the pack, but they stay side by side for second. Now 3 wide back for P5 with a handful of drivers. The 26 machine of Donnie Moore, Tanner Cook, and the 47 of Kyle Reveau are 3 wide and 1.
96 of Tanner Cook took it way down to the apron there in turns 3 and 4. He's still 3 wide there for the 5th spot, actually. Going to be 4 in the 4th spot once it actually does settle out. 96 at Tanner Cook. Now working in there around that 47 machine at Kyle LeBrow. The 26 at Donnie Moore up ahead there, coming across the stripe. The 96 of Tanner Cook cannot clear the 47 of LeBrow, so it's going to be interesting to see who gets the advantage now out of the corner. And does LeBrow lift slightly? Yes, he does get the advantage to the 96 of Tanner Cook, who puts himself solidly in 5th, but the battle's still going on right now for that 2nd spot. These guys are burning up their tires, having to run down on the flatter part of the racetrack. As you see Tachita give a little bit of a door to the 53 at Coop, who responds in kind by driving back around the outside. And looking high, wide, and handsome here at the Irwindale Speedway is Coop. He's still right along the back bumper. Your leader, David Richards, they work out of 4.
They typically side by side, not the fastest way around, but the 53 and the 12, they have been, and they have only been closing on the gap that 18 made after getting clear from the 53's throw down to the bottom and 3 and 4 back on the first lap after the drop of the green flag. Austin going to try it again. He wants to stay in front of Wade Tashida, the 12 car. Just wants to be able to get back up to where he wants to get. He lost 2 spots on the pit lane, but the 4-tire stop, and is continuing to struggle to get around Coop. Looks faster than him, but again, you're put in that spot where you're on the bottom, not the quickest way to go right there in the middle of the racetrack. You want to be up top, or if anything, we've seen guys have limited success throwing it down low all the way down the grass. Not finding much, and he'll stay in 3rd for the moment. Side by side for P4, just behind that battle, the number 96 of Tanner Cook, continuing his valiant charge. Just talked about how he slid up in line in front of Kyle LeBrow. Now he'll go down to the bottom. He's fighting with the 26 of Donnie Moore for 4th. He'll get clear, masterfully done, and shuts the door into corner number 1. Perfectly done by the 96, and now Tanner Cook plus 16 is the biggest mover.
He is. He's on the charge from the very last starting spot of these guys that took time on the racetrack. So the Tanner Cook machine certainly trying to close that gap between himself and the 53 of Austin Coop, the 12 of Wade Tashida, who are actually going back and forth once again on the racetrack, side by side here. Lap 49, 50 going to be coming in the books here in just another lap and a quarter or so. So Tashida trying to get himself back around that 53 here as we come close to the quarter mark here at Irwindale Speedway in the MGD 200 here on LSRTV.
I'll tell you, David Kello's not having a fun time right now in that number 25 machine. Hearing reports that that car is really snappy loose on exit, giving it a lot of wheel. That car has a little bit of front end damage. Started this race in 4th position, has since slid to 8th. And he's trying to put up a challenge with the number 3 machine just in front of him. That's Jacob Porter. He'll throw it down to the inside. They go side by side for P7 in the quarter. This fight just behind the now slowly fading 47 of Kyle LeBrow, who is no longer in the conversation inside the top 5 as he was just a couple of laps ago. As they sit right now, the 25 not going to be able to get the job done that time by. We're quarter distance through this evening's Motorsport Graphic Design 200. You're watching LSRTV's coverage of the American Sim Racing Association Late Model Summer Shootout Series from Irwindale, California. We'll step away for the first time and go LSRTV side by side. Green flag still out here in California.
It's been a very long off season. Teams have changed, sponsors have changed, colors and all, but one thing that hasn't, they like to mash the loud pedal. Green flag is out on the 2015 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series season.
iRacing is the ideal platform for these broadcasts because we have the best racers, the best online racers in the world, and we have such a variety of racing from NASCAR to Grand Prix style racing, sports car, endurance racing. We do it all.
Since 2010, the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series has been the absolute pinnacle of road racing in a simulated form. Great start then by Yakoda from the front. They're packing up behind number one. They're going to be 4 wide as they come down into turn number 1 for the first time. Will they make it through that first corner? You can see them funneling through the center S's. It looks as though everyone has just about made it through. We have got ourselves some contact though, Rachel.
Side by side going into turns 3 and 4. Humpy's got the advantage, but Ottinger's not going to.
Oh, he got into him!
Ottinger gets into the fit into him. That ends Ottinger's run.
The iRacing.com Ford First Mustang pace car is down and away after another caution flag here at Irwindale Speedway. You saw it just before we stepped away to commercial break. The 525 making contact. We go back, green flag racing though with David Richer in control of the field. Side by side with Austin. Wade Tashida though, the number 12 car, trying to get back up front, lost that spot on the pit lane in contact with the 53. Door banging multiple rows deep down the back straightaway. They continue to go side by side for second on back. You'll see the replay in just a moment go up on your screen. Contact with the 25 of David Kello and the 5 of Josh Poole. Those drivers got together and a fine machine was turned around by the 25. Caution flag went through. No major changes, no major pit stops in front of the field. Really the running order exactly as it was before. Tanner Cook, your biggest mover so far, the 96, continuing to use that bottom lane all the way to the apron in 3 and 4 yet again. He's 16 in the positive so far, trying to continue to go forward, but yet again they are side by side for second and third as they were on the last stint. Austin Coop and Wade Tashida still continue to fight. Richer is clear right now, up at the front of the field right now, and you know, we saw that when these guys were side by side, Richer started to pull away, but that car has really struggled with the long run speed on the car so far tonight. So although they're side by side behind him, not losing any ground by any means. Right now, Rain Tashida has it at the start-finish line. Can he get clear, though? Could be his best opportunity that he has seen in the last 20-25 laps if he wants to be able to get back up there. Get single file if that 12 car can get back up against the outside retaining wall. I can guarantee you that he's going to be able to put himself in a spot to fight with David Richer in that number 18 machine, who continues to get a little bit squirmy that time out of quarter number 4. Lap 65 of 200 in the Motorsport Graphic Designs 200 right now in the works. We have 15 out of the 20 cars that started this race still on the lead lap. Lucky Dog position right now, first car 1 lap down, and only car 1 lap in the negatives is the 14 of Brad Newman. Alan Wilds, number 33, is 2 laps down in 17th, 4 laps down in 18th is Walter Holmes. That machine is out of the race, as well as Adam Poff and Mike Martell are the 3 drivers that are so far retired. But talk about that number 3, how about all of the top 5 drivers within 1 second of each other and continue to be bumper to bumper to bumper all the way through, all fighting who makes the move first.
It very well could be the 53 of Austin Coop. He's been right on the back bumper that 12 of Tashida trying to look to the inside of the 18 of David Richer, but he's still about a car length and a half off the back deck bit of that machine. These late model stock cars are a little bit heavier, a little bit more abusive to the right side tires, and also about 2 inches less tire than the super late models you see more frequent on the iRacing.com service. And Tashida, to his credit, he's trying to do whatever he can with those 2-inch tires, and he's got that gap down to inside of a car length now, working on a turn number 4. Richer very loose that time off the corner that time by, and really starting to get that gap closed on by the 12, and he's starting to pull away a little bit from the 53 of Austin Cooper himself. As a handful of steering wheel out of turn number 2 that time by, he's starting to fall back into the clutches of tonight's hard charger, the number 96 of Tanner Cook. He's right there reeling in that 53 of Austin Cooper. It could be another position gain for just another couple laps by that 96 of Tanner Cook as they work out of 2.
But again, you see that 53 machine, he was up in a conversation again earlier in this race on the last run essentially, but once they started getting some green laps on the tires, the 53 began to fall backwards. She'll go side by side on board as you take a look up. He goes side by side for the top spot while they're at it. The 18, the 12 machine continue to trade it out. Really has been a dominating performance by Richard Tsushita, and other than that, nobody else really that started inside the top 10 has showed a lot of muscle. Everybody else going backwards but Donnie Moore. Donnie Moore, the only other driver right now that's going really at a distant way forward. The 12 car goes down to the bottom. They'll go side by side for second. Run off the bank, get off the corner, going to give the advantage to David Richer. He maintains it yet again. However, slowly, and this is the same thing he did on Austin Coop, it wasn't one big move to the bottom like we've seen that fastest mover Tanner Cook be doing all night, Justin, where he throws it to the yellow line, slides up in front of them. I have a feeling we might see that move put on Austin Coop here very shortly. That's not what Wade Tsushita's doing to get back to the field here. That 12 machine took his time, pinched almost that 53 up to the high side, got around him. That's slowly what he's doing right now on your race leader. Was at the quarter panel. He's working his way up to the rear tire, to the door, slowly picking away at it and keeping that pressure constant. Over a little bit of a bobble off the corner allows Richard to get cleared.
He's got to watch out because the 53 of Coop is hanging right there along with the 96 of Tanner Cook, who's been known to make it very interesting, and he just had an interesting exit of the corner, very loose, sawing at the wheel of that 96 as well. The battle's still going on for the lead at the moment, but the 53 at Coop is there and on the outside of the 12 of Tsushita, who just almost got quarter panels with the 53 of Coop as going in this time by 75 laps in the books here at Irwindale. Richard extends that gap a little bit. It's back out to about a car length or so, getting into the corner. Inside of that, he's got the 12 of Tsushita down 3 wide for the lead out of turn number 2. Got the 53 of Austin Coop way down to the inside, thinks better of it, gets back up into the preferred line. So Tsushita doing everything he can to get around the inside of the 18 of Richard, but I think it's honestly going to take a slide job to make it happen.
That 53 has not been shy on making it 3 wide, while Richard and Tsushita have been fighting tonight, making a 4-car battle, 4 cars within half a second of each other at the front of the field, and the car that continues to try to make something work. If he's not put in a spot to get a pass, he'll try to fabricate something. Tanner Cook again, all the way down to the yellow line that time in 3 and 4. Nothing comes of it. Slides up back in line. No harm, no foul. Still a second to the plus over Donnie Moore, who sits in 5th, and is really, that's the big gap between the top 4 and 5th on back. There's about a second that separate this lead group. So they're fighting with each other, but they're still hauling the mail and working as a one pack right now, but they're starting to get close. You saw Austin Coop go to the inside there, almost got into the left rear of the 12 of Wade Tsushita. Very close call at that time. The 12 machine continues to try to be rather patient. He takes advantage that time as the 18 slides a little bit wide, but again, can't get it off the quarter. Eventually, though, Justin, as you said, that 12 machine might just try to get it in one swing of the bat because he continues to put a little bit more work on those tires when he's throwing it in there in the middle, and that was really the one advantage he had over the 18, was keeping those tires on the race car a long run.
Yeah, and he's really still working at it. He's sawing at the wheel and trying to keep it from getting loose on entry, but he's better from the exit off there, especially when he get the car hooked up there on the inside there. And the 53 of Austin Coop is giving Tsushita no room whatsoever. He's actually closed that outside gas, so Tsushita can't even come up and try to get that run. He's got to make his big move, and he's got to make it now, but here there's a wreck on the backstretch. The 47 of Kyle Levroux is around. Caution not out yet, but the 53 of Austin Coop experiencing big time connection issues. I'll blink out completely for about the entire turn.
Levroux was 3 wide as you take a look at the replay, splitting the 54 and the 77, and it was the 77 who turned him in. It was Tyler Graff's machine who went all the way down to the apron, the move that we've been documenting Tanner Cook's go-to tonight. slid up, got into the left rear, took him out. That car spun, got into the inside, but nothing really comes of that, and it will stay under green flag conditions as he was not immediately in the racing surface. But those drivers had been going at it a couple of times, especially the 47 and the 54. 47 ends up the recipient end of the retribution and finds himself now way back 15th and last car on the lead lap. He's currently fighting with the lapper back and trying to stay on the lead lap in his own right, but it is David Richer who really now trying to stretch things out to 0.5 of a second. This time Bond going to go back down to 4 as Tashida takes the positive end on that last lap exchange, and they go side by side for third behind him. Finally, Tanner Cook with the position can't hang on to it though. They're so very close in speed. Tucks back up in line, and now they continue to fight it slowly, starting to allow Donnie Moore to rejoin the picture again. That number 26 was way out of it. Now that they continue to fight, and they have really since we went back green flag racing. Moore, Allen, and others starting to join the party.
It certainly is. Tashida already back to the back bumper of the 18 of David Richard. He's just got to let the tires cool on that 12 machine before mounting another attack at the 18. With that said, the 96 still all over the back bumper of the 53 Austin Coupe. Time will only tell, but these guys really got to start conserving their stuff, because Irwindale can go a long green flag run, actually all the way just about to the end.
And still 15 cars on the lead lap. It would be Kyle Lavro's machine the next to lose the lap. He's 15.5 seconds back and running 22nd lap time. So he's got about half a straightaway, 3/4 of a straightaway good over David Richer, Shida, and company, but not the spot that he would like to be after he was fighting up inside the top 10 well after that car looked to be decently fast, now struggling to try to pick up the pieces, and something that he's really hoping for would be a caution to try to get himself back caught up, because the longer they go, in theory, David Richer, he's going to be continuing to pick up the pace as far as everybody else, because he hasn't really had to do a lot. Wade Cheetah has the driver that's been doing everything. The 18 has been up against the wall. That's it, plain and simple. It's the Cheetah who's been diving low, cutting in the middle, swirling that race car in and out of the corner, just trying to stay on the side of that 18 machine. And, you know, we saw Tashida pull away the last time. Not happen this time, because he just can't find a way around Richer. And again, the only reason he lost this is because of pit road. They both came down, took 4 tires. 18 machine beat him off of the pit road from being the pole sitter that easily. Puts that 18 back up front, and that's what's leading to the struggles we've seen for the 12 car in this last stint.
And he looks down to the inside again, nothing doing. It's the 18 trying to really keep that car going straight in his car. A little bit angry on them tires. They're way up high now in turns 3 and 4, allowing Tashida to get door to door as they cross the stripe there. Tashida looking to the inside of Richer as they were in one.
And last time these two drivers were down on the pit lane was lap number 35, is when they both came in. Since then, it's been a struggle for power. Now may be the best chance. Wade Tashida with the closest he's been since we went back at it. A little bit sideways, though. That time off the corner, 15/100ths of a second short at the start finish line. Really trying to get stuff going here. They continue to go side by side. Trouble for Tanner Cook's number 96 machine, the driver that we were just talking about, our biggest mover, Justin Rose. Now that driver with some sort of an electrical connection issue. One of the things in the sim that we can call it all version of a mechanical failure is the unpredictability of your connection to the sim. That machine has had a big episode recently. The 96 is way back now from where he was in 4th. He's fallen all the way to 11th and lost all of that ground that he fought so hard to get.
Lap traffic going to be in play here. Race control trying to tell the 47 of Kyle Lavro to get down to the inside, allow these leaders to race, and does so, but it's going to give the advantage once again. The 18 of David Richer, who does now clear the 1208 Nishida going into the corner. Lavro not too happy about it, was not yielding for about a full lap or so after race control told him that he needed to yield, so Tashida has to go back and earn all that ground that he gained once again, but these two have pulled out well over a second and a half or so off of the 53 of Austin Coupe, who is starting to fall further and further rear, and you got 2 guys close under a blanket, actually 3 guys for the 4 spot. You got the 26 of Donnie Moore, the 64 Alex Halliner, and the 48 of Clint Kroll, who himself is starting to climb up from the back of the pack, starting 17th, now up to 6th.
good fight going on for about P9 right now on a racetrack. It's going to be between the number 77, Tyler Graff. That car, we just saw at an incident. He ended up turning the number 47, Kyle Levrone, not all that long ago. He is right now 9th position, started 7th, so 2 spots into the negatives from where he started this race. Has Motorsport graphic designs on the hood of that Rainbow Warrior inspired number 77. He's working with damage and fighting, trying to do something with Nathan Hurlburt. Can't quite do it. They'll be side by side off the corner. 99 scrapes the fence, and they have been side by side, much like our leaders had for the majority of the time, and continue to be side by side relentlessly. So the 18 and 12 back at it. We're side by side for first. We're side by side as well for P9 on the racetrack. And once you get side by side at this racetrack, because of that progressive banking, they can stick side by side for quite some time. Finally, Wade Tashida gets a nose on him at the start-finish on. The 12 is showed at the top of the scoring pylon. That time 5, but not quite clear. Richer fights back.
Richard fighting back on the outside. It's going to be a drag race to see who's going to be our halfway leader. Lap 100 coming in the books this time by, and it looks like it's going to be the 12 with Tashida just by a couple of thousandths once again. It actually pulled 200ths of a second over David Richard, who's battling on back once again on the outside. Very angry recently, trying to keep that thing everywhere but going straight. And he had to fight it very hard to keep himself from wrecking that 18 machine. And he gets around the 12 of Wade Tashida, who had a bad entry. Oh, and contact. They get a little bit loose, and the two beating on each other door to door as the 53 of Austin Coupe now starts to close in third.
There is an Irwindale drift demo at the Speedway this Thursday, but Brad Newman may be a little bit early to the party. The number 14 machine is 16th right now. He was our lucky dog car. Still is the first machine off the lap, but has fallen another lap in the rears after that car continues to struggle very much so with the handling on that race car. Very loose after it has received the damage. We still go side by side for the top spot, but now that 100 are in the books, at 100 are left to go, we'll give you our LSRTV mid-race break and let you know where everybody sits right now and how they got there. You take a look at the top 2, nearly contact that time. David Richer is scored as your race leader. Started on pole, was fastest in practice, defending winner, won this most recent race with the American Sim Racing Association. He's highest in points, and right now is sweeping the evening so far. The challenger sits second right now, as he had for really the majority of the second portion of this opening stint in the run. Wade Tashida is second right now on the racetrack. Behind them in third is Austin Coupe, the driver of the 53. Gained those 6 spots from starting in 9th very early. Is still in third. Not quite on tap with the 18 and 12, but well in front of 4th on back, where you'll find the 64 of Alex Haliner. That car started 3rd, is 4th right now. And rounding out your top 5 is the new biggest mover, who started 17th and is up 12 spots in 5th. The 48, great run so far for Clint Crowell. And another good news is that Ford looks nice and clean. He's keeping it nice and in condition throughout this event.
37 of Tyler Graff being scored 7th behind the 25 machine of David Killo, who actually cycles into the top 5 after the 53 of Austin Coupe has to come to pit road. I'm also hearing the 26 as well, but further on down the running order as they stand right now, the 99 of Nathan Hurlburt being scored 8th, 96 of Tanner Cook being scored 9th, and the 3 of Jacob Porter rounds out your top 10 in 10th.
You continue to look through. 11th position right now is the American paint scheme on board that number 54 machine. That is Shannon Jones. That car is going to bump up a spot. Next couple of cars into the lanes, and now 11th will be Josh Bull. Kyle Levrone is 12th. 13th is Mickey Harden. Austin Coupe's number 53 machine falls to 14th, 1 lap and rears that car hit the pit lane. Brad Newman is 50, 2 laps down. Another car 2 laps down. The 33 of Alan Wild is 16th, and 17th position, 4 laps down, is Donnie Moore. Walter Holmes, Adam Poff, and Mike Martelli, 19th and 20th respectively, are out of this event. So we saw the 53 machine, rather the 53 of Austin Coupe. He was up there fighting with our leaders, running in third. Really close to them, Justin. I mean, if anything, the closest, because third on back, I mean, they were way back. They're still 3.4 seconds off as Haliner jumps up to third. We saw the 53 come down pit road. He was in with both Richer and Tashida the last time, so you got to be keeping an eye on the 18 and the 12.
Certainly have to, but, you know, these guys have a very big advantage in the tires here aren't quite as bad of a fall off as you'd find in the Cup Series. Going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of half a tenth to 3/4 of a second, and it's about 20-21 seconds a lap here. So these guys still have about 30 laps or so before that gap would even consider shrinking, because once you get to a point here on these tires, they don't really fall off too much more. So these guys, could stay out, and if they have enough fuel to go to the end, one of them might try it, one of them might come down pit road, but again, it's a gamble because somebody could wreck, putting you at least a lap down, maybe more, and effectively ending contention on the night.
We talked about how long it takes to get that serviced on Alan Wild has gone 2 laps in the rear. Austin Coop only 1 lap down after the 53 machine pitted on the racetrack. We go side by side yet again. This is a recurring theme since we dropped the most recent American National green flag. That is Wade Tashida, looking like he has the faster race car, but just not being able to pass. We have yet to see him really throw the wicked aggressive move and go way down. He continues to try to just run that middle line, pinch the 18 machine up, but he creeps forward, gets the nose to the left rear, and then falls out. Now sideways off the corner is David Richer. That gives a huge run to Wade Tashida down to quarter one, and again, we go side by side. But if this battle, anything like we've seen it the last couple of times, they'll get close, and then that 12 machine struggles so much in the center of the quarter. That's where Richard's making up a lot of the time, plus the run he gets off.
Two drivers showing a lot of respect to each other right now. 77 and Tyler Graff not very happy with the 99 machine on Nathan Hobart, as well as the 2 leaders. Still wheel to wheel right now, battling each other very hard right now. And these guys showing a lot of respect, because Tashida could really take the 18 up the racetrack on entry and really kind of stick his nose in there. But these guys are running clean. They're pulling away from the rest of the field, and Tashida, all he has to do is let his car cool down a little bit on them tires, and then he can mount another charge here. As you see him doing is he's now looking to the inside of the 18 of David Richards and work out of turn 2 and into turn number 3. Tashida right about on the preferred line now, cuts it down into the middle, and if he really wants to get around the 18 of Richard, who's been strong all night long, he needs to take that car up right about where the 18 is, or maybe even a little bit higher, and really push Richard up onto the higher end of that bank.
The news coming into this event amongst the drivers was, could anybody dethrone that 18 machine? I read out the stats. He is the most recent winner in the American Sim Racing Association Late Model Summer Shootout Series. He won the Draper Valley Golf Course 250 just the other week. He is also the points champion, got locked in for being in P1, was in the field right away. The 12 machine has had a lot harder of a climb to get here as well with Alex Halliner. Now that both of those cars are back to second and third, they had to qualify in. They finished first to Tashida and second to Halliner in the last chance qualifying event to join the top 20 in points, locked into this event just a little bit earlier on in the week. So very different stories that you see running very identical laps up at the front of the field. They continue to go side by side, and again, they're not really gaining much more time on everybody else. Third is continuing to be 3.6 seconds back. Halliner can't really do a whole lot because he's kind of in a fight with Clint Crowell in his own right. The 48 car now up 13 spots after the cars in front of him took a dive to pit road, and he's assumed the P4 spot, but picked up about at least 10 of them on the green flag stints. Is benefit of not coming down pit road recently, but still a spectacular run for the Ingram 48 machine right now as they sit right now. He's all over the 64, but yet again you see the 18 and the 12. Here we'll get a little bit of an idea of what tires are with, because you see the 53 behind him. Sure, that's what this looked like about 25 laps ago, but Austin Coop has hit pit road. He's a lap car trying to unlap himself, and he's right in the middle of the battle for the lead.
He is, and it's really settled down now. 2 car lengths the gap between him and Wade Tashida right now. The 53 at Coop on the bottom, trying to do the kind of respectfully getting around the 18 David Richer, but Richer going to try to hold him a lap down as he's not yielding the outside just quite yet. He's going to make the 53 earn it and really put a lot of abuse on the right side tires. The 53 at Coop now does unlap himself. He's about 20 and 3/4 seconds now, officially behind your leader, as he's now officially on the same lap, almost a complete circuit down. But new tires always going to be better than old tires, obviously. But Tashida really trying to battle back once again. These guys really trying to get these cars around the racetrack. About 20.9 is going to be where these guys are at right now. And already after a few laps after pit, it's still about a 3/4 second gap between old tires and new tires as these leaders now get into 3.
And Coop's been picking up speed throughout the night as well. That 53 ran his fastest lap of the race, fresh out of the pit lane. So the fresh tires obviously a benefit, but starting to figure out his way around this just a little bit. Again, he gained a lot of spots very quickly. The 64 machine, Alex Halliner, up in the outside wall. He's going to be coming down pit road from third this time. Back straight away, hard on brakes down, and he'll come in for service. He'll give up P3. That's going to move Clint Crowell up one more spot. The 48 now about 14 spots in the positive. But Halliner is into the pit lane, and again, all eyes turn to David Richer and Wade Tashida. How long do you wait if you're the 18 and the 12?
That's really kind of the million-dollar question at this point right now. 3/4 of a second and about a 21 second gap between himself and the leaders right now. The gap down to 18.5 seconds. I estimate about another 25 to 30 laps or so before Austin Coop is going to start knocking on the door of these leaders, provided that gap stays consistent in how far it gets reduced in each lap. Leaders now have to deal with the lap car. The 33 machine, Alan Wild, going 4 laps down now to your leader, David Richer. And Tashida, just to his credit, just riding it out, trying to wait and see how far he actually has to go, because I'm sure these drivers are begging for a caution right now.
64 is now back out of the racetrack. He'll fall 1 lap at a negative. Him and Shannon Jones are the 2 drivers 1 lap down. 64 right now is in a lucky dog spot. Number 96 at Tanner Cook announced that that machine's going to be coming in. He hits pit road with the ASRA Late Model Summer Shootout Series graphics on that number 96. He comes in for service. Richer and Tashida, though, out, and now the 18 comes down from the top spot. He'll get up to the 12 car, and now cards have been played by the 18. Does Tashida come down immediately after? We'll see, though. 18 in for what we expect to be 4 tires and fuel.
4 tires and fuel, and so does number 12 Wade Tashida. He actually comes down to pit road hard on the binders. I don't know if he got down to pit road speed limit. It's going to be interesting to see if he gets a speeding penalty or not. But this is the money stop. Can you get in and off of pit road cleanly, and how far can you get out in front of the driver, either in front of you or behind you? Richer already off of pit road, give or take, in the 12 Wade Tashida actually now coming down to the attention of his pit crew.
You'll see the 18 machine, 22:55 on the time. He's back out on the racetrack. Now Wade Tashida in that number 2 pit stall from starting second in the race. It was last time he was on pit road in which he lost time. That allowed Richard to be able to get the ground that he had on him. What is the gap going to be once they get off the pit lane? The 12 car has completed service. 24.4, he's out on the racetrack. Tashida blends up. Not even close, as David Richer already way out at the start-finish line, as Tashida still cycles through corners number 3 and 4. Big win if you're the 18 machine. Doesn't even lose the lead lap status. Race lead now cycles into the hands of the 77. Tyler Graff goes on top of the board.
Yeah, 77 and Tyler Graff is either going to try to stretch it, which is kind of almost an unwise move. 21.1 is average lap time for that machine right now compared to a full second. 19.93 going to be the fastest lap for, I do believe it's going to be the 18 of David Richer, so he is on the charge, over a second a lap faster than the 77 of Tyler Graff, as he now works to the inside of number 26 to put him another lap down. That's Donnie Moore there in the 26, so Richer on the bottom, and it's going to be the better part of about a quarter to almost a half a track between Richer and Tashida on the racetrack, so that is the money stop of the race. Well, who won it? Obviously David Richer, with a much better in and out lap.
He's 1.5 seconds, now 2 seconds in the positive over Wade Tashida, who right now is scored with 20.7 seconds off the top spot. David Richer is only 15.2, so it's 5.5 seconds, the gap between 4th and 6th on the racetrack. Alex Halliner, the 64, who came in first after he was running in 3rd, hop skips over the 12 and slots into what would be 2nd position if we assume that Richard's going to cycle through back to the race lead. But it is Tyler Graff's number 77. He's in a 3-wide fight Austin Coop battle for the lead, and give it to the 53. Now the 77 sideways trying to get down pit road. No caution, but he tried to get into his pit stall and came over the nose of the 5 machine. He gets in, no speeding penalty, but costly on time.
very costly for the 77, but the 53 of Austin Coop might have played this almost to perfection. Replay going up showing what happened there with the 77 of Tyler Graff just coming across the nose, the 5 of Josh Poole. So tough luck for the driver, that number 77, who had been sniffing the top 5 just before this round of green flag pit stops. Coop out over the 18 of David Richer by about 12.5 seconds here with almost 60 to go next time by. So it's really anybody's guess, and it's really looking like it's going to be the 18 of David Richer as he gets around another driver. Now he's up to 3rd and charging hard.
One more driver till he's got a clear shot at Austin Coop, and that is the number 47 iRacing.com Monte Carlo of Kyle Lavreau. That driver sits right now in 2nd. He's 7.8 seconds off of Austin Coop, who sits up at the front of the field. But again, we saw that number 53 come down pit road significantly earlier than we saw Richard and Tashida enter the pits. We saw him then unlap himself. We can clearly see the benefit of those fresh tires. Now as his tires start to fade, the advantage is going to go back in favor of the 18, the 64, and the 12 machine. So as David Richer hits the pit lane with the final car that had stayed out, completing its cycle of green flag pit stops, Kyle Lavreau is in. David Richer now moves up to 2nd. Clear track, and you got just about 58 laps to get the job done if we continue to stay green. We have been for over now 100 laps at the Irwindale Speedway. 11 seconds flat is the gap that he has to make up on Austin Coop, but it looks like, at least right now, the 53 made the right call with the short pit. We'll have to see how this shakes out as they continue on what appears to be a long green flag stretch.
Appears to be that way. Gap is about 0.3 of a second, a quarter second or so per lap. So at that rate right now, it would take until about 10 laps to go for Richard to get to the back bumper, the 53 of Austin Coop. So it needs it to stay green for the 53 of Coop to have any shot at getting ahead and using lap traffic to his advantage. Is the 48 of Clint Kroll trying to unlap himself around to the inside of the 53. Yep, and about 0.3 of a second that last time by. Faster, it took actually a little bit more than that, 3.5 tenths that last time by for the 18 of Richard. 53 of Coop getting a heck of a fight being put up by that 48 of Clint Kroll, who is a lap machine, now unlaps himself in 3.
Taste of his own medicine there is that 48 who has gone and taken over the biggest mover spot after the troubles for Tanner Cooks, number 96, who was at one point 16-17 spots at a positive, had a connection issue with the sim, dropped back. It appears that team has gotten that resolved over. He's the 2nd car, 1 lap down. He scored right now in 7th, back up 4 spots after falling to as deep as 11th in the middle portion of that race. So back down to 9.3 seconds. The speed that you see from David Richer. Going to be about 50 laps to go in 3 more circuits around this Irwindale Speedway, but he's not going to be as fast as this race goes on. Half a second that time by. If you look at the math, he's got more than well enough time, but Justin, he has to be careful that he doesn't push it too hard and really heat up those tires and then just not have a shot by the time he gets there.
That very well may be the case. 2 drivers out of contention now for the 9th, 14 of Brad Newman. The 26 of Donnie Moore decide they're going to effectively end their nights, and they are now behind the pit wall and out of this race for tonight. Half a second or so per lap this last time by is going to be the amount gained by the 18 of David Richer, and he's actually pulling out time on the 12 of Wade Tashida. Gap back up now to 5.1 seconds between the 18 of Richer and the 12 of Tashida. The fastest 2 cars all night long, with the 53 of Coop being a very close third. It's really anybody's guess. Is lap 150 now, and it looks 50 laps to go here in Irwindale.
And as we enter the final quarter of the American Sim Racing Association's late model summer shootout series, Motorsport Graphic Designs 200 will step away for the final time during racing conditions here on LSRTV. We go non-stop as you continue to watch the battle for the top 2 continue to get smaller into the final stages in Irwindale, California. live at the Irwindale Speedway with LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Take a look at Inside Sim Racing TV. For all the latest news and reviews in the sim racing world, check out Inside Sim Racing at ISRTV.com. 9 lead changes, 3 cautions. That's the race stats so far into the Motorsports Graphic Designs 200. You're watching our continuing coverage of the American Sim Racing Association Late Model Summer Shootout Series. 9 lead changes, and very soon Justin Rose now may very well be 10. David Richer really with a big win on the cycle of pit stops. Way out blew Wade Tashida. Alex Halliner has slid up in front of the 12 car, so the 64 sits third right now, but it's Austin Coop who's trying to stun the world. Short pitted, put that machine on the top of the board, but the 18 is coming like a bat out of hell, and he's almost caught up to him right now. Just 2.9 seconds separate him, and still 38 laps to go.
38 this time by as they come across the start-finish line. The 5 of Josh Poole giving a little bit of business to your leader right now, slowing him down artificially about another tenth of a lap as it's about 3 wide out of turn number 2 between the 5 and the 10. The 96 also involved a little bit with that. He's almost now up to the leader to try to unlap himself as there's only 6 cars now, almost 7 on the lead lap, and Richer takes another third of a second that last time by. This time by across the stripe, almost another half. Gap 2.3 seconds as they cross the stripe. Now leader out of 2.
And you see a lot of these guys trying to get around Austin Coop because the 53 pitted so much before them that 96 machine all the way to the bottom, going to get the pass, and that unlaps himself. So the 96 of Tanner Cook goes from 1 lap in arrears to last car on the lead lap, but back up into the 7th position. So it's Coop just by 1.7 seconds over Richer. To the inside on the 53 goes yet again another lap car, Josh Poole, trying to get around him. All these guys significantly faster because 3 pitted well before any of them did. That's why he's on the declining end of his tires, and Richer still trying to get a lot out of his. 1.2 seconds. We have seen Wade Tashida try to pass David Richer all night long on the inside before they hit the pit lane. Couldn't do it. And by all means, it appeared that the 12 machine had the fastest car before he lost the lead on pit stops. Can the 18 execute when he gets to the 53? Absolute no challenge or interference by the 10. Way out of the way goes Mickey Harden. He's going to let these guys fight it out. The 5 car, Josh Poole, all the way down to the bottom. Everybody getting out of the way as Coop and Richard get set to battle. It's 5.8 seconds back to Alex Halliner, who sits in 3rd. So really a 2-horse race up at the front of the field.
On board the 18 is the gap inside of a car length now out of turn number 2. This is going to be the battle for the win. It is a country mile between these 2 drivers and the 12 of Wade Tashida, who just cleared the 64 of Alex Halliner. So it is a long, long way back. 5.5 seconds the gap between those 2 drivers and the 3rd place cars. The 53 lags out for a moment. 18 of David Richer working the inside. They're wheel to wheel out of turn number 2 and on the back straightaway into turn number 3. Advantage to the 53 at Coop on the high side. Now on the bottom side, fresher tire is going to be the advantage. David Richer going to be scored as the leader across the stripe, that time by just 41 thousandths of a second.
And he'll put him away at a quarter number 2. Austin Coop knew it was coming. The outside only thing that lane had going for it in a side-by-side fight for a lot of the night was getting a run center off. The old tires just were not allowing the 53 to do that. And David Richer now goes to the top of the board. And looks like that he might just set sail with that. Now the 5 pops back up, and Josh Poole will continue to try to get his lead lap status back. But it was very nice to see all of those drivers get well out of the way. Absolutely would have played no factor in that. And David Richer just take it over on his own. He cleared him just 2 laps ago. Already 0.7 of a second to the good. Another driver running just about equally as fast, though. Change for position number 3. Wade Tashida gonna pick it up over Alex Halliner. 12 machine still wants to try to chase down Austin Coop, but the big thing here is if we get a caution, this race could be far from over. Do have a battle for P9 on the racetrack right now. 2 drivers, 1 lap down. It's Nathan Hurlbert and Tyler Graff fighting for 9th position right now to quarter 3. The 77, the 1 on the attack, and we'll give a bump down to quarter number 1. 2 bumps now, really getting physical down at a 2.
1 bump, fooled me once. Bump 2, fooled me twice. Bump 3, well, guess what? You're going around, buddy, in the 77. now working on the bottom, the inside of the 99 and Nathan Hurlburt. Hurlburt trying to hold that outside preferred line as you see the 77 of Tyler Graff trying to charge down on the inside of that 99. They're trying to get a big run up out of the corner of the gap inside of a car length between these two. Gap extending between your front two. It's about 1.5 seconds this last time by. And these two drivers 1 lap down trying to get up towards the number 3 of Jacob Porter just ahead of them. For the first car 1 lap down. Should a caution fly in the next 15 laps or so here at Irwindale. These two going to war a little bit, trading paint multiple times over the last 20 to 35 laps or so, give or take, on the racetrack. And the 77 feeds a door to him, and trouble! 1 car almost goes around. 99 Hurlburt in the wall on the front straightaway.
That was in the making for quite some time, and they got hooked together and they kind of got stuck on each other's door, and it sent the 99 and Nathan Hurlburt up the wall into the outside retaining fence and is now back on the racetrack. 77 takes over the spawn and had a battle coming out of quarter number 2. Really got sideways. That machine bobbled and then nearly lost a handle on it. I can guarantee you if the 99's in striking distance, he really wants to return the favor, but I think the 77 just fast enough to be able to continue to pull away from him that he's not going to be able to do so. Those drivers fight for 9th. There are 7 cars on the lead lap. Only car in front of that 2-car fight we're looking at 1 lap in the negatives is Jacob Porter's number 3 machine. He is the lucky dog, but if they need a caution, they better have it happen quickly. Down with inside the final 23 laps in this event. The closest battle we may be seeing coming up here is going to be for P2 as Tashida now only 2 seconds off of Austin Coop. It is old David Richter up at the front of the field, trying to go for the statistical sweep on the night. Fastest in practice, qualified P1, and right now looks like he's set to take home yet again another checkered flag in 2015.
He also has the fastest lap of the race down in the 19.9 second bracket there in racing trim, so very quick on the racetrack is that number 18, and Tashida doing his best to try to run down that 18, but it's gonna be not enough time, and it's definitely gonna need a caution flag to have any prayer whatsoever of even taking 2 tires to get around that number 18. And 53 Austin Coop, to his credit, still doing what he can to hold on to the back bumper of the 18 of David Richer. He's about 2.8 seconds back. Tashida 4.4 back, and it's about 1.5 seconds. Give it about 10-15 car lengths now as they come out of turn number 4 for the battle for that 2nd spot on the racetrack. Lap 181 going into the books. 19 laps to go here at Irwindale for the MGD 200 here on LSRTV.
And who would have thought, after we saw the short stints, red light, green light, if you will, at the start of this event that saw 3 relatively quick caution flags in this event, that he would just flip the switch and then go long and green. And unfortunately for Wade Tashida, it did not happen in a favor that would have benefited him, because that driver looked like it was all his. He was pulling away and then found himself behind. Next thing you know, it's green all the way, and there's little he can do about it. How quickly things have changed. We go side by side for 8th. Major contact. Around goes Jacob Porter up the hill in front of the 99. Spins out. There it is. Caution flag is out at 18 laps to go. The 77 and the 3 were going at it. We saw Tyler Graff move another car not all that long ago, and finally the 3 set it up. Justin Rose now, he threw it in, absolutely doored him, and then tried to save it a couple of times, nearly took out the 99. Great heads-up driving by Nathan Hurlburt, but there's the caution, and this is a completely different story up at the front of the field. Goodbye gaps, possibly goodbye tire advantage if somebody elects to come down pit road. There's 7 on the lead lap. They're led by David Richer, and we have a caution in the final 15. Looks like he's hitting the pits.
18 with a huge time advantage still on the racetrack. Several lap cars between him and the 53 and the 12. All these leaders on pit road. If you're going to beat him off, you better take just 2 tires. And the 18, he's got the luxury of taking 4, so he's really got the advantage here on these final 10 or so laps here once we go back to the green flag. 53 Austin Coop in second. 12 Wade Tashida. 64 Alex Halliner in fourth. The 5th spot actually going to the 48 Clint Kroll. 25. 18, David Richard missed his stall. Going to give a little bit advantage back to these guys that were running second and third on the racetrack at this time. Two cars down and away. 53 on 2 tires. 4 tires going to be the call on the 18. Who's going to be the first one off of pit road after these right here? 12 flat for the 53 of Austin Coop. Down and away.
He got beat off the road.
Tashida. Who's going to get that second spot off of pit road? It looks like the 12 with Tashida.
Talk about returning the favor. It was Wade Tashida who lost the lead in this race early on after it was the 18 that beat him off in the pit lane. Now this time, David Richard, a huge advantage into the pits, overshoots his stalls, got to pop it in reverse, and then loses the race off of pit road. Oh, how quickly a battle with 2 lapped cars that aren't happy with each other and triggering a caution flag can change the entire complexion of the race. Or take a look at the replay of how everything went down on pit road. The scoring going to cycle through this time by the 53 of Austin Coop. Will go to the top of the board. He did exactly what you said, Justin. He needed to take 2 tires if theoretically, if the 18 didn't mess up, to even have a shot of being there. That's how Austin Coop ends up in first. Everybody behind him, though, on 4 tires, and not to mention that the 53 had the oldest left sides regardless out of everybody. You better hang on, because I can guarantee you Tashida and Richard are going to be going at him. This reset set to take place within the final 10 laps.
It very well is going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight to the finish. Remember, the inside guy does not have the advantage on the restarts, and I do believe it looks like the 53 Austin Coop, he's going to take the outside, and that's going to relegate the first 2 fastest guys on 4 tires down to the inside. Wade Tashida in the 12, taking the inside line after leader takes the outside. Remember, Evan, we have to go on green only.
No advantage for the 53. It's going to be a drag race to quarter number 1. Can he keep it on the outside? The pace car is down and away. 10 laps to go into Motorsport Graphic Designs 200. Green flag flies once again at a quarter number 4. Everybody pushing. There's 9 on the lead lap. It is Austin Coop up on the high side. Can he hang on? No. There goes the 12. It's Wade Tashida out front.
Richard goes down to the bottom, 3 wide for the lead. Caution flag on the speedway. Who's it going to be off of turn number 4 for the lead? The 12 with Tashida going to get it across the stripe. Going to have one more shot at this here as we stack them up under caution once again.
It is trouble for Mickey Hardin. Snap-on machine. He got into the outside retaining wall. Came down the racetrack into the 54 of Shannon Jones. And the 54 and the 10 cars going to be involved. The 54 hits the worst end of it as that machine hits the opening in the back straightaway fence for access to the pits at this facility. Heavy front end damage on the 54. Mickey Hardin's car is torn up as well after he really got mangled up. And we push the reset button yet again. What we saw there was Austin Coop on the 2 tires. You're going to take a look at the replay of the incident right now. Tashida down on the bottom, 4 tires. Was just able to power through and off the corner better than Austin Coop could. Tashida will be the control car now. David Richard, he better get clear of Austin Coop very quickly if he wants any shot at this one. It's Coop second, Richard third, Halliner back up into 4th spot and 5th position, actually, as Tyler Graff takes before the 77 elects to come back down pit road. So Alex Halliner will retain P4, and 5th position will be going to the 48 of Clint Crowell.
If I'm Wade Tashida, Evan, I'm going to take the outside on the restart because that's going to put Coop down on the inside, and Richard's going to be on the inside in 3rd, and that's going to put a slower car blocking Richard on the inside. So really it depends on what Wade Tashida decides to do here when the field hits 1 to go.
47 machine is going to be your lucky dog this time by, so Kyle Lavreau will rejoin us on the lead lap, and we'll have 10 total lead lap cars for this ensuing restart. He'll bump up to P8 with Tyler Graff and Nathan Hurlberg electing to come back down the pit lane for some extended service. The lights are still on top of the pace car. We expect them to go off, if not this time, by the next time. We're within 5 laps to go at the stripe right here. So this is going to be the final attempt at a green flag finish. If a caution flag flies at any point after we restart this race, we will end under caution flag conditions. Lights stay on at least 2 more times around the Irwindale Speedway, which means less and less time for the driver of the 18, David Richer, who looked like he didn't have it early. It looked like it was Ray Tashida's race. Then, with about 100 laps after that, looked like it was his. He was 20 laps from home. Lap cars take each other out, and next thing you know, if you're David Richer, you're fighting for your life here, and he might have to get a little bit dirty if he wants to be able to make it work here. He's going to have to scrap for it. I don't think riding up high like he has all night is going to get the trick done. You might see that 18 try that really aggressive move down low, which is something that Tashida and Richer hadn't had to do all night. They've just been kind of running their own race. You're going to start to see a little bit of desperation set in behind the wheel of that 18. Lights are off. Restart with 3 laps to go.
Well, but Tashida takes the inside on the restart. I don't know if that's going to be a critical mistake or not. Field now in the hands of Tashida and Coop as the forward first iRacing.com pace car hits the safety at pit road with these two drivers wrecking under caution right now. 77 and 3 blown motor on the 77. Lights back on the pace car as the field gets a delayed start here, so it's going to be possibly a green-white checker.
That's going to be a huge delay in this race because the pace car had already elected to come down pit road. So trouble down the back straightaway for the number 77. We saw Tyler Graff back on the pit lane trying to get that machine repaired, getting set for the restart. Lost the engine on that machine, was up in the outside wall. The pace car, though, was already down on pit road. It jumps back out on the racetrack. Lights are now off. Only 1 lap, though. There's 1 lap shootout to the finish.
1 lap shootout. It's anybody's guess. Wreckers or checkers, win it or wear it. Who's it going to be? Pace car now on pit road. LSRTV zone. Evan Lasoko with the call to the checkers.
It's now or never. If they take the green flag and white at the same time, no caution's going to end this one. It's a scrap to the checkered flag. Green flag flies at a quarter number 4, all over each other. Down the front straightaway, it's David Richer trailing Wade Tashida. Down to quarter 1 to the inside. Can't get it. Slides up high. They'll be side by side for a second with Austin Duke. Wrecking down the back straightaway. Down to the apron goes David Richer. Last dashed attempt. He slides. Crossover. He shuts the door. The race to the stripe. And David Richer wrecks across the start-finish line. He goes up and over. And I told you, he just might have to throw it in there. It wasn't pretty, but he got the job done. David Richer slides up at a quarter number 4. Shuts the door on the number 53, comes back down on the 12 car, and he had to get it done one way or another. Justin Rose, now he found a way to do it in spectacular fashion, somehow gets the job done, and I'm sure Wade Tashida, who felt like this race should have been his, lost it on the cycle of pit stops and then looked like he was going to get his opportunity back, is not going to like the way that one went down.
No, you don't. Replay on the screen as you see it there, the 18 of David Richer way down to the inside, slides up. Wade Tashida just misjudged the crossover to get him at the stripe. That's going to allow the 53 to get around him and relegating Tashida to the 3rd spot in carnage on the front straightaway. A la Daytona last night at 3 a.m. in the morning, and it's just cars everywhere on the front straightaway here at Irwindale. David Richer now puts himself in victory lane.
He had to work a lot harder for this one, you think, at the end, and some of the races that he's had in the past, at least now 2 wins back-to-back. He continues to lead the Late Model Summer Shootout Series points, but, I mean, he threw that car in there so hard that I'm surprised he didn't just plant it in the fence. Essentially, he had to come to a stop, and the 12 tried to cross him over, but just misjudged it, and then he may have got him. It was going to be at least a drag race to the finish, Justin. He may have just edged the 18 out, but the 53 coming through trying to shoot the gap hits the 18, and David Richer was sideways across the line with 2 sets of 2. Looked like they were stacked up for a restart. Everybody just pushing the driver's side door. Absolutely nobody could get around. The 18 essentially blocked the racetrack and won it, facing eyes first to the outside, retaining wall down the back straightaway. Somehow, David Richer takes home the win in this one. Up and over, the car destroyed. Still able to drive it, though, to victory lane. Spectacular finish. I thought that when we went 3 to go there, that was a realistic shot I would think. And if we went green there, I don't think maybe he would have been that aggressive, but the trouble with the pace car, with the driver losing an engine on the back straightaway, nearly ended this race. Luckily, we got a one-lap shootout of it. David Richard did everything he could and just so happened to get the job done at the end. But, I mean, what a wild, wild finish with all of the circumstances there. The lap cars taking each other out, the shuffling of position on pit road, the last-second scare with the wreck of the back straightaway with cars having issues, the delayed green flag, all of that surmounting to a big pileup across the start-finish line here at Irwindale Speedway. But nonetheless, David Richard completes the sweep on the evening. He wins from pole position in the Motorsport Graphic Design 200. Very hard to top that one, I'd say. What a wild finish.
A very wild finish. In fact, shades of Terry Labonte and Dale Earnhardt in 1995 at the August race at the Bristol Motor Speedway under the lights, wrecking across the start-finish line. Terry Labonte getting the win over Dale Earnhardt back in 1995, almost 20 years ago to the day. In just under a month or so, David Richard does the feat here in the virtual version, and these guys, one heck of a race. Late model stock cars, very close racing all night long. One lap dash, winner to wear it well. David Richard pulls off the slide job, and he finds himself in victory lane.
It was exciting from up here in the tower. Wait to hear what the drivers thought of it. We'll try to talk to them in just a moment. We step away for the Irwindale Speedway. We'll be back with LSRTV, the voice of sim racing, the post-race show from Irwindale, California, just on the other side.
It's been a very long offseason. Teams have changed, sponsors have changed, colors and all, but one thing that hasn't, they like to mash the loud pedal. Green flag is out on the 2015 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series season.
iRacing is the ideal platform for these broadcasts because we have the best racers, the best online racers in the world. And we have such a variety of racing, from NASCAR to Grand Prix style racing, sports car endurance racing. We do it all.
Since 2010, the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series has been the absolute pinnacle of road racing in a simulated form. Great start then by Yakoda from the front. They're packing up behind number one. They're going to be 4 wide as they come down into turn number 1 for the first time. Will they make it through that first corner? You can see them funneling through the center S's. It looks as though everyone is just about made it through. We have got ourselves some contact though, Rachel.
Side by side going into turns 3 and 4. Humpy's got the advantage, but Ottinger's not going to.
Oh, he got into him!
Ottinger gets into the 58, turns right into him, and that ends Ottinger's run.
do a lot of live broadcasts now. Every Tuesday is NASCAR night, so on alternating Tuesdays we do the Peak Antifreeze Series, and on the other Tuesdays the B-Class Series, which is the Xfinity cars, and sometimes we'll even do some short track racing depending on the schedule. Every other Saturday we do the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series, so the best road racers we have. And we also broadcast some special events, including the Endurance Championship, which is part of the Road Warrior Series. So we broadcast the Daytona 24, the Sebring 12-hour, we'll do the Watkins Glen 6-hour, several other races along there. And then, of course, the iRacing Pro Racing Champions, which is usually our biggest and most watched event of the year.
That is short track racing, and that's how awesome this sim is, Joe. That's something you see on TV on highlight reels, and we just saw it here, live.
We invite iRacers who are real-world racers, and they compete every December. Guys like Alex Gurney, Justin Wilson, Scott Speed, Ron Capps, the list goes on. Really some big-name drivers from all major forms of motorsport. It's really neat to see them get together and race together.
See Laughlin up top, down to the ball, gets turned! Laughlin gets turned! Caution is out foul at the front of the field!
The easiest place to find the broadcast is on our website, iracing.com/live. So you can find some of our races on fanschoice.tv as well. A nice place to find iRacing broadcasts. You can also find it at mrn.com and peakauto.com.
Back live at the Irwindale Speedway after a thrilling finish to the Motorsport Graphic Design 200 on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Take a look at Race Chaser Online, one of our partners here at LSRTV for post-race press news and reviews, everything in the real world and sim racing world. Check out racechaseronline.com for your motorsports fix daily. It was a wild finish that saw David Richard take home the win by 82/100ths of a second over the driver that started this race on the final restart in control of it all. We've caught up on the pit lane with the driver of the number 12 machine, Wade Tashida. Wade, first off, walk us through the range of emotions maybe that this 12 machine felt tonight. Very strong up front early. You were pulling away there from the 18. You get a caution, you guys fall back, and just can't quite get around them for a very elongated green flag stretch. Next thing you know, you get a yellow, you're back on the pit lane. You return the favor to him. You took over the race lead there. Well, you beat him off the pit lane, then you got the race lead, and walk us through what happened on that one-lap shootout. It was a wild night.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say thank you to ASRA. Put on a great show, and all the competitors out here. We had a ton of green flag laps. This race was a blast to drive. Had a prolonged battle with Dave Richer, and just some great driving, great racing. I know during that one pit stop, in the green flag pit stop, I got 5 seconds back. Couldn't quite, still don't know how that happened, but my crew will review the tapes and sort that out for next time. But I was the guy pulling for the caution, and was glad to see it. So that led us to the one-lap shootout, and all I can say is I don't hold anything against anybody. It was awesome. Everyone was going for the checkers, and it was a great battle. I'm just ecstatic with the whole race, and the finish was the finish.
It was most certainly a very thrilling one, coming up to what was going to be a 3-lap to go restart. Trouble on the back straightaway with some cars with damage. Restart gets delayed, and you only guys got one shot at it. Two very different paths that you and David took to get to the end of this race. He started up front in that 30-minute qualifier session, just edged you out. You started in second, but he got a bye into this event for not only winning 1 week ago, but as well being the top-ranked driver. You had to go through a little bit of a different course. You had to qualify your way in through the last chance qualifier. So, if anything, it gave you a little bit more race experience in that 12 car. What made that machine so strong that gave you the ability to go up there and go toe-to-toe with a guy that's really dominated this season so far?
Yeah, I definitely think coming through the LCQ gave me more laps, race laps. This is a tricky car to drive, and tire wear and tire temp are critical in this car. You know, everyone had the same challenge with it, so it was just a matter of figuring out how to conserve the tires and how to not overwork the rears especially. And I think I did a good job of that. Both competitors and I were just talking, both Austin and Dave, and my car was working down on that low line in ways that they couldn't get theirs to quite work. So again, I think it was just the additional laps of the LCQ that helped me with that.
We saw a couple of drivers really like to utilize that apron at some points, the grass. When you were trying to get around, David, there, you really didn't force yourself down low for a lot of it. You just ran the middle of the racetrack, and you saw it at the end. You had to think he was going to try something. Was that bottom maybe ever an option for you in the middle portions of that race? And I mean, you just talk about how this track has the progressive banking. There's a lot of room if you look at it on paper, but I mean, really the comfortable place to be is up against the fence. So you and him were quite calm there racing each other compared to some of the other battles, obviously, till the end, though.
Yeah, I had played around a little bit with that apron line during some practice laps. It was real inconsistent, and just knowing the length that this race was and the need to just maintain the tires, I really just kind of eliminated it as an option. When he did that on the last lap, I saw an opportunity for a crossover, and just he slid up across my nose. I was pulling as hard as I could pull to the left on the wheel, and my right headlight just caught the corner of his bumper, and you guys saw it live, the outcome. There you go.
In the end, you come home 87 100ths off of the top spot for, we had the opportunity to cover earlier on in the year the Accelerated Graphics 250 with the now American Sim Racing Association. For those tuning in, where are they going to be able to find Wait to Sheeta rolling forward within the sim here in 2015?
I'm a big fan of super late models, so I just kind of bounce between the lates and the super lates, and do a little bit of road course action in the Star Mazdas too.
Well, before we let you go, sponsors and shout outs, anybody you want to thank for what was a really strong run tonight for you in that 12 car?
Well, again, ASRA, thank you for putting on a great show. It's a lot of work, and give a shout out to cqcmotorsports.com. And a big thank you to all the competitors out there with us tonight.
Well, we want to thank you for taking a moment, stopping by and talking with us. You guys put on what a heck of a show. I know it wasn't the result that you were looking for, but it was a good run. Congrats for the top 3.
Thanks, guys. LSRTV, thanks for coming and showcasing us tonight.
That was your third place finisher tonight, who started in second, maybe should have won it, and comes home just a little bit short. The driver that pulled the incredible pit strategy called that at one point looked like he may have been able to be the one that could come through and steal this one. Fell back, they all hit the pit lane late, and somehow ends up with a second place in a melee of it all. Justin Rose, now you're down on pit road. You've caught up with the driver of the 53 machine, Austin Coop.
Coming home a very, very close second. Austin, you did the short pit option and looked like you were going to have to settle for third because Tashida was running it down there. Then you had the late caution flag. You took 2 tires. Did you think you'd even have a snowbird's chance and you-know-what of even catching up to Tashida or even Richard there on that last restart?
Well, really on that last restart, I had taken 2 tires just to get the position, to get the outside line. Hopefully it was going to work. We got a little bit of a run. Once we got that run, the caution came out pretty quick, which, helped me. And then Wade took the inside line, which is, he was so good there the whole race, and then I wanted the outside. And then we had that little scare of not even being able to finish it under green with Tyler having the motor blow, which is unfortunate. But I mean, coming to that finish, I've never had anything like that happen before.
So, do you know just how historic this kind of finish is, for not only for you, but for everybody involved? Can you name a single race that comes to mind? We've mentioned it here on the broadcast, but can you think of any NASCAR race in general where a finish like this have ever happened?
Well, there's definitely one. I can't think it on the top of my head. I mean, there's my nose and Wade's nose, and then we're pushing him sideways across the finish line, and he wins the race. And, to be second to David in the first place is, a feat within itself. David's just been really on a roll lately. But I can't believe that we finished like that. That almost seems impossible.
Hindsight 2020, Richard makes a mistake getting into his pit stall for the final stop of the event. And do you take 4 tires knowing that mistake happened, or do you still take 2 and put yourself in position?
Definitely would have taken 4, because then I might have had a fighting chance on the outside against Wade, because Wade and I fought for about 10 laps, I think, side by side, and I was trying to save my tires for the long run, because I could have swore he's going to lose it, but he never did. And I thought maybe 2 tires. I made an audible. I was going to take 4 tires, but then I actually went through my pit stall too, and I also had to take fuel because I was going to run out. So taking that short pit was definitely the right call, but definitely I could have waited, I think, a little longer, but the caution came out and ruined all my plans.
Well, the answer to the trivia question, Austin, is Terry Labonte, Dale Earnhardt, Bristol night about 20 years ago, and he did a whale of a job putting on a good show to finish the night, coming home second to David Richer. I know it's not just you that makes it happen on the racetrack. Sponsor shoutouts. Who really makes it happen for you there on the 53?
Well, Batteries Plus has definitely been a great addition on board. I ran the Navy car and my own sponsor last year, and then really to have ASRA, also known as ASRA, to be the move has really just made the series a lot better. We wouldn't have those kind of green flag runs, but since the move, it's just definitely been a lot better. I have to give a shout out to them, Kyle Barnes, definitely David and Wade for making it such a great show. We were making a good show from the beginning, doing slide jobs, doing reversals around it was just. I had so much fun. It's my favorite racetrack to drive on, and I'm sad that it's not going to be around in real life anymore, coming soon. But it is what it is.
That's the driver who finished second, driving the Batteries Plus 53. That's Austin Coop. And now, down to Victory Lane, Evan Pasoko. You've got tonight's winner. I'm sure a very happy David Richer.
He did cross the start-finish line in first position, albeit it was sideways, and then he had a flip down in quarter 1, but the car still had power, came around, did some burnouts. Now in Gatorade Victory Lane, your race winner for tonight's American Sim Racing Association Motorsport Graphic Designs 200 is the driver of the 18 machine with the clean sweep on the board, fastest in practice, your pole sitter and winner. David, first off, congratulations. It wasn't as simple, though, as driving from the pole all the way through in first place to the checkered flag. Early on, it looked like the 12 car had your number, scorched him on pit road twice on caution to get the lead, and then on that green flag stripe to get about 5 seconds out front, and then we get 20 laps to go. Next thing you know, you got lap cars wrecking, and there's a yellow.
Yeah, it was one of the hardest races I've had this year. Wade and Austin, they both drove a great race. I wouldn't be able to run side by side like that with many people in this league, and I'm glad that he was up there battling with me. It's hard to come by those racers in iRacing, and we have a lot of them, but a choice few in ASRA that are just astounding.
And then it looks like things stack up for about 10 laps to go. First off, let's talk about the cycle of pit stops. You had a little bit of a gap on everybody else, which forced Austin Coop to take 2 tires if he wanted to stick with you. But then you had a little bit of issues into the pit stall, and you ended up coming off of the pit lane not quite up front.
Yeah, I missed my pit box getting in there on that last caution, and it just really messed everything up. And I knew I had to take 4 tires anyway, so I backed up as fast as I could and got in my pit stall, and I came out third, and I knew I was going to have to do something. I didn't think it was going to have to be what it was, until we had the 1 lap race, and I knew I was going to have to pull something out of somewhere to make anything happen.
You take a look back at that, you said it there, it was supposed to be a 3-lap to go shootout. Trouble with some lap cars on the back straightaway, losing the engine. Pace car already ducked well off, as it did on the backstretch, so 2 more times around, almost went to the point where, you guys didn't even get a shot at it. Luckily, still 1 lap to go there at the end, and a wild finish. Maybe sometimes under the caution flag, you sit there and you think to yourself and you make a little game plan, and the next thing you know, instead of having 3 laps to do something, there was only 1 lap left. The big thing that I noticed when you and Wade were fighting there a lot in the races, you guys were side by side, but you were up against the wall pretty much. You guys ran the high side of the racetrack side by side. A lot of the time, we'd see guys go side by side, and the guy on the bottom was all the way down, taking the line you did there at the end, throwing it to the bottom, trying to slide up top. You guys were very content with riding kind of calm, cool, and collective. What was the thought process finally going for it there at the end? And, it may not have worked out as pretty as you would have liked, but it got the job done.
Yeah, throughout the race during the long green flag runs, I knew that I wouldn't be able to dive down there because it just kills your tires. You can't do it for 2, even 3 laps in a row without the other guy on the outside just pulling away. So we were just up there just kind of saving our stuff but still racing each other. But I knew I had 4 fresh tires with 1 lap to go, and I knew it would stick down there just a little bit. And then I slid it up high, and I thought for sure he was going to be able to turn down underneath me, but he said he caught my left rear quarter, and it just turned me in front of him and Austin, and they just never lifted and just pushed me across the finish line.
It's a good points night for the driver that comes home in second, Austin Coop. He entered tonight 12th in the championship standings. For you entered at the top of that, so you got the buy into this one as well. The winner in one of the most recent ASRA races in the Draper Valley Golf Course 250. You took home the win in that one as well. To see Wade Tashida come in here, have a very aggressive fight with you, who hasn't been up there the entire season in the points like some of these other guys, must have been good. But everybody's saying that it's that 18 machine that's on a roll, and again tonight you find success in a very difficult situation. What kind of momentum does that give you guys and confidence when you're able to continuously not only have that fast race car, but then when you're put in a trying spotlight, still know that you're able to execute and getting so many W's and continuing to grow that points gap?
It wouldn't be possible without Kyle Barnes, the owner of ASRA. This whole organization is just outstanding with how they run it, how they don't play favorites and all that good stuff. As far as momentum, it's pretty good. I race every race to pretty much just win. I don't really worry about points, and I just kind of let them happen. But I'm in the points lead, so I guess maybe I should probably start thinking about this moving forward.
Well, so far the strategy has been working out. Tonight it did as well. You finish on top of the pile and you win the Motorsport Graphic Designs 200. Before we let you go, David, sponsors and shout-outs. Anybody behind the scenes you want to give a call to?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Rocket Tire Services, Shark Bite Tire Treatments, Rocket Cuts, Phantom Racing Chassis, everybody in ASRA. That's just the best league that I've ever been a part of. And thank you guys for broadcasting this race. I had a lot of fun. I think everybody else did too.
It was certainly exciting for us, standing up and screaming, coming down to the checkered flag day. Thanks for taking a moment to talk to us again. Congratulations. Hopefully, we'll be able to catch some more of these races going forward in 2015. And if we do, hopefully for you, and we'll see that 18 machine up front. Again, congrats tonight.
Thank you, guys.
But again, that is your race winner, and the number 18 machine, David Richard, comes home victorious over Austin Coop and Wade Tashida. We talked to all of them in the top 3. 4th place was Quinch Crow. Alex Hallander rounded out the top 5. You've been taking a look at the entire LSRTV full field rundown throughout the ticker while we were talking to all these drivers. Justin, we're throwing out some pretty big races there to compare this one to. We've done a lot of short track stuff. I know short track something that you really dig. We always love having short track stuff on LSRTV, with the 4th of July weekend being just finishing up yesterday, but the 4th of July 2 days ago, our regular series have been off, so we got to see some Sarah short track racing and now some ASRA short track racing. We gotta find a lot more fixes to this. It was a spectacular race, and I don't think I've ever seen a finish quite exciting like that one.
No, I've yet to see an actual finish, checker flag finish that this year has been as exciting as this one here tonight. I'm not afraid to call it what it is. This is every bit of shades of Bristol, August 1995, Terry Labonte, Dale Earnhardt Labonte finishes sideways across the start-finish line to take the checkers. This is these are races that last in memories for years to come. And congratulations to David Richer, who does take home the victory over Austin Coop, Wade Tashida, Clint Kroll in 4th, Alex Halliner in 5th, David Killow in 6th, 7th goes to the 99 Nathan Herbert, 47 Kyle Lavreau in 8th, 96 Tanner Cook in 9th, and the top 10 rounds out with the 5 of Josh Poole.
Poole was the first driver one lap down. It was 11th position to Jacob Porter, Mickey Harden in 12th, 13th to Shannon Jones, Tyler Graff in 14th, 15th position to Alan Wild. Everybody from here on out finishing behind the pit wall, 16th to Donnie Moore, Brad Newman in 17th, and 18th to Walter Holmes, Adam Poff in 19th. And rounding out your 20-car field was Mike Martell after starting inside of the top 5. Before we wrap things up and send you off and get set again, still a couple more special events coming to you this week on LSRTV before we get back with our regularly scheduled programming this Friday with the iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series. The iSuper Chase gets kicked off this Friday. Justin, any more final thoughts, I guess, to add on to that from what was a great race that soon to be the next USA, we'll call it, on iRacing the Irwindale Speedway. Always a great track.
USA, a great track, no longer exists in real life, is now a housing subdivision, and, well, Irwindale's going to fall to the clutches of the strip malls in California. That's what it's going to be bulldozed and turned into, is just another strip mall in Southern California. So a great race put on here tonight by several drivers, not just the guys who finished in your top 3. Lots of 2, 3, even 4 wide action all night long on the racetrack, and I really can't speak highly enough of these guys. Running these late model stock cars as hard as anybody as I've ever seen, and put on one whale of a show here tonight for the ASRA MGD 200 here on LSRTV. And Evan, I don't think we're going to see none better for the rest of the year.
It definitely has set the bar, and if you enjoyed this, we want to thank everybody at ASRA, the American Sim Racing Association. The second time out with them, we covered their race earlier when it was Action Pack Racing with the accelerated graphics 250 at Sobo, and tonight's Motorsport Graphic Design 200 as well. Always very, very exciting, and when you look back on it, the bar has been set for exciting races. If you need your racing fix, please go to LSRTV online at livesimracing.com or our Facebook at facebook.com/livesimracingtv for all of the updates, upcoming broadcasts, and all of that good stuff. If you want more information on the American Sim Racing Association, check them out through their Facebook. Just give it a search, or online at asra.squarespace.com. That wraps things up from the virtual Irwindale Speedway in Irwindale, California. A spectacular finish sees David Richer take home the checkered flag at the MGD 200. On behalf of the LSRTV broadcast crew, myself, Evan Pasoko, Justin Rose, now our executive producer, Laura Lawson, thank you so much for tuning in. Check out LSRTV for more. There's a whole lot to come in the sim racing world. Until then, we'll see you next time.